I've had the Sony ZV-1 for 6 months now, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the good things about the Sony ZV-1 and also the bad things about the Sony ZV-1. This is going to be a good one, so let's go. My name is Vic Barry, and for techniques, tips and thoughts on video and all things filmmaking, please hit subscribe, especially if you find this video useful. I bought the Sony ZV-1 back in June as it was released. Now, I've used its older brother, the Sony RX100V, for a long time, so the idea of a mic socket and unlimited recording time for 4K, that was just too good to pass up for me. And that's one of the best things about the Sony ZV-1. You've got unlimited 4K recording, as long as the battery lasts. Now, more on that in a minute. But you can record 4K video, and the 4K video is absolutely stunning. The image is crisp, it's clear, and it is bursting with detail. As far as I'm concerned, you're not going to find a better image unless you pay substantially more. No, I'm talking like thousands more. Now, keeping with the visuals, the Sony ZV-1 has probably the best autofocus in the world. Besides tracking your head, it'll also track your eyes. And if it can track one of your eyes, it'll go back to tracking your head. I don't think I've ever lost autofocus with the ZV-1 in the last 6 months. It's something you can just rely on and not ever worry about. Physically, this is a tiny camera, but it's easy to grip compared to similar cameras in the range because there's an extra little grip here, and I've added even more with a cage. But with the quality out of the photos and this thing's size, you're going to find yourself reaching for the ZV-1 quicker than your phone. But what about the bad parts? Battery life isn't as bad as it used to be on Sony cameras this size. Now, if you record 4K continuously, you'll get just over an hour. In most cases, I've used the camera, kind of a quick shot here, quick shot there. How good do I look? It's okay, but given that Sony batteries are cheap and tiny, you can always have a few to hand. Now, I know that's not ideal, but for the quality that comes out of this camera, it's absolutely a decent trade-off. However, keeping with the batteries, the one major flaw with the ZV-1 is the battery door, which also holds the SD card, and more so the location of the tripod tread. Chances are you'll always have this on a tripod of sorts, and without a cage, you're not going to be able to change the battery without taking off the tripod. So to get the most out of the camera, depending on what you're doing, it's a good idea to add a few accessories. And that's the thing, with the ZV-1, this thing is so flexible and there's so many good accessories. The cage, this is a smaller rig one. This is an absolute must. Don't think the lens is wide enough? Personally, I think it is, as some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet have vlogged with the same lens and found it absolutely fine. Hi, Justine. But get a wide angle lens adapter if you don't think it is. The Ulanzi one is amazing. Don't like the onboard audio? Get an external mic because you've got a mic socket. Look, I can keep going. Speaking of flexibility, there's enough options here to allow you to upskill yourself when you want to. From the different picture profiles to all the slow motion options you'll need, and look, slow motion while the 960 frames per second is junk, the other ones are great, especially the fact that you can do unlimited 120p and 1080. It's super clean and super usable. Stabilization, it's okay. Look, let's be honest, Sony was never great at IBIS in any camera they made, but it's small enough to fit on a small gimbal. It's not the worst stabilization in the world, but yeah, you know. After 6 months of use of the Sony ZV-1, this is easily one of my favorite cameras ever. It punches far above its weight, and while it's not perfect, like what camera is, the picture quality and autofocus alone are worth its asking price. I've made a ton of videos on the Sony ZV-1, so if you've just bought one or are getting one for Christmas, this playlist here is going to make you a pro in no time using the Sony ZV-1. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, don't stop fighting for yourself. Nearly got the timing right.